Hello and welcome to Hi-Hat 101. Welcome to my channel and thank you for choosing to watch my video. If you found this video on YouTube, then you're probably interested in model railways, collecting model railways, building model railways, or trains in general, because that's exactly what I'm into. I love trains. I always have done since a kid, and I've always grown up with at least a model railway of some sort. Anyway, I've decided to take the plunge recently. After about 7 years of not modelling the railway, I've just started to get back into the hobby again. As you know from my videos, I do collect locos and trains, but they're not much fun being stuck in the box. So finally my frustration got the better of me last week and I decided to build another layout. So without further ado, this is my new layout so far. Excuse the mess in the middle because I've only been laying track for the last couple of nights when I've been getting home from work, so when time's been allowing me, I've been working on putting on my track down. And the board itself is 9 foot by 6 in diameter, and it's a 16mm top baseboard. And I'll explain a bit more about the baseboard in a minute, because there's a little bit of a secret to this baseboard. There's more than meets the eye. I'll show you that in a minute. But anyway, just really briefly, I've got all my tracks folded up and wired up ready. Excuse the ugly soldering, by the way. I'm not the world's best solderer, but what I've done works perfectly well. Guarantees a permanent electrical connection between the track and the controller, giving my trains plenty of power without any hesitation. And these wires are going to be painted ballast grey and weathered, so they won't notice too much. Probably going to build a tunnel in this area anyway, so they won't notice, to be honest with you. The track itself is brand new. All the track on my layout is brand new, apart from a few odd sidings that I've got up on towards the middle end of the layout up there in the top. I've got a few sidings up there, which is going to be the diesel TMD sidings. As you see, there's a spur coming off one of the lines here that goes off up there and stops. That's going to continue up into that space, and there's going to be a turntable there, and that will then lead off to the steam motive power depot, which will have a coaling and ash plant facility, and will house all my steam locos, probably about halfway across the board where they'll stop. The board itself is green in colour, as you can see, and if you're wondering about these weird huge white lines around the edge and the line that goes down the centre of the baseboard, like so, I didn't put that on there. That might give you a clue what it is. Yeah, if you haven't guessed it already, this is a table tennis table. Yep, it's a ping pong table, and this particular table cost me approximately, with delivery, £198, which I think is very reasonable. It's, like I said, 16mm thick top. It's not chipboard, it's like an MDF chipboard. It's very, very durable. It's quite strong, and what I like about it is it's a nice smooth flat surface, so it's perfect for gluing scenery on. It accepts track pins very well, and it's also very stable and very sturdy and extremely rigid. It does come in 2 halves, and if I go down below the baseboard, I'll show you exactly what's going on with the underside. So let's go under the world of the baseboard. Okay, so here we go. Basically, yep, it's got legs, which is what you want. You want something that's very rigid and very strong and very sturdy, which is what I was looking for in a baseboard. So the first thing we can see in the camera here is these nice chunky brackets that are bolted to the underside of the baseboard, and they come down They're braced across in the steel framework that's been put together. Everything's bolted quite nicely together. This is repeated on both sides of the baseboard, so as you can see underneath there, you've got the same setup either end. It comes in two halves, and you've got, if you can see at an angle there, going across at a left angle, you've got a locking mechanism that locks the framework and board in place. And the only thing you've got to fit when it comes delivered are these feet. These wheels that are on a set of legs that come up and bolt onto the feet of the baseboard. They do put spanners in the packaging, so it's very easy to do. If you're a younger modeler, you might want to ask an adult to help you put it together. It is quite simple to do. But these are very heavy boards, by the way. Then you need two people to help you assemble it. They are quite heavy, but they're nice and sturdy, and once they're up, it's quite light to push around if you want to move it. It does come in two halves, like I said, so you can easily store it away and fold it up upright in the two sections. But I've chosen to keep mine permanently flat, and what I've done here, I've just put some battens just across here to keep it together. There is a baseboard join that goes from obviously one side of the table or baseboard to the other, or the window over there. And once we get some scenery on there, it shouldn't really notice really that much really. And if you look at most model railway layouts in books like Hornby Magazine or Railway Modeler or Continental Modeler, whatever you buy around the world, most layouts have, if they're portable or permanent, they will have a baseboard join at some point, because most framework is built in sections these days. So mine comes in two halves. All the track is brand new, it's Hornby. I've chose to have a DC layout as opposed to DCC. There's nothing wrong with DCC, I quite like DCC, but it's a bit expensive for me, to be honest, to have all my locos upgraded and chipped for a DCC operation when I've got a huge amount of DC locos. Plus, I'm a bit old-fashioned when it comes to wiring and bits and pieces like that, so it works for me. It might not work for you, but that's what makes a layout very unique. It's your own layout, it's your own design, and it's yours to have fun with. So this is what I've built so far. As you can see, it's all pinned down and laid and wired up. I chose for the first time, by the way, to use these express turnouts from Hornby, which I think probably look a lot more realistic in looks and operation compared to their standard turnout, which is one of these. There's nothing wrong with the standard Hornby turnout, but it just doesn't look realistic when you've got a train travelling at scale speed from one line to another on one of those crossovers using those points. I don't personally like them for crossovers. They're okay for depots. In real practice, you'd have short turnouts within depots and sidings anyway. Most depots have that. Anyway, this is my track design, so like I said, you can be as unique and as original with your track as possible, which is what I've tried to do here. My layout is going to have 3 TMD sidings up here for the diesels that I've got, and the space up there in the middle where there's no track at the moment, that's going to have a turntable there, and they'll lead off into individual spurs for steam sheds and an ash plant and a coal tower that I've got. So I'm going to work on that area there. All my track is going to be ballasted and weathered, so that will take quite a long time to do, but that's why I'm hoping to make a series of videos on YouTube as my layout progresses. So if you want to watch those as they come, please feel free. Like I said, this is a very easy option for both a beginner and an expert in the model railway world. If you're starting out doing your first layout, I think this is a wonderful idea. if you're a bit stuck for an idea for a baseboard. To me, it's quite an easy option to do because you haven't got to worry about doing any building or construction or buying the wood or materials and screwing it and measuring it and gluing it, and this one comes ready to go, so that's why I chose it basically. It's quite simple, and plus you've got a nice bit of storage space underneath the baseboard. Anyway, that's what I've done so far, and thanks for watching.